Hey guys, what's going on? Kel back here once again, representing the 40k YouTube channel, bringing you another Warhammer 40,000 related video. Today, we're talking lore, we're talking storytelling in 40k. Specifically, we are talking Necron Lore and playing the long game. I love the lore and the storytelling that comes to Warhammer 40,000. I hope you guys too. And this video is going to review the latest article on the Warhammer community page all about Necron Lore. But as always, before any video, thank you very much guys to everyone who has subscribed to the channel up to now. It is massively appreciated, up to like 135 subs. Thank you all so much for the subs, the likes and the comments. Me and Cole can't thank you enough. If you are new to 40k, if this is the first time you've seen us, we are 40k. We post Warhammer 40,000 content every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, like today is going to be. There's going to be like 3 videos come out today, 3 or 4 videos come out today. So if you like news, reviews, hints, tips, painting videos, battle reports, anything Warhammer 40,000 related, subscribe to the channel. We will be your one-stop shop for everything Warhammer 40,000 related. But with that said, let's get into it. Let's look at some Necron Lore. We have no Sunday preview today, which was yesterday, as there are no pre-orders next week. In fact, instead of looking ahead, we're taking a look back a few million years at the Necrons and their plans to retake the galaxy. When we say these plans have been a long time in the making, we mean a long time. Okay, and here we have some great artwork. A couple of monoliths, and some Necron warriors coming out of their deep sleep with their, what do you call them, Tesseract kind of energy weapons and the scarabs and stuff like that. And let's see what we have. Starting with the Necron Tier. Millions of years ago, a race known as the Necron Tier ruled over most of the galaxy. As a people, they were short-lived, which gave them an obsession with death and trying to overcome it. Their culture was I can never pronounce this. Hierarchical, like a hierarchy kind of thing. I can never pronounce that word. Made up of different great dynasties who broadly followed the codes of the ruling council, known as the Triarch. The Necron Tier colonized countless worlds, but as the territory expanded, they found their unity eroded. Bitter wars erupted as entire realms fought for independence. The Triarch realized that they needed an external threat, something to unify their people against. Only the Old Ones, the first of the galaxy's sentient races, would provide such an enemy. Such a conflict was simple to justify for the Necron Tier, as they had ever wrangled at the Old Ones for their unwillingness to share the secrets of eternal life. Thus began the War in Heaven. And the War in Heaven, while the war had brought unity back to the Necron Tier, this was not a war that they could win. Even with superior numbers and technologies, they found themselves constantly on the back foot thanks to the Old Ones' mastery of the webway and their use of psychic powers. Generations were wiped out, and the Necron Tier desperately searched for means of halting the collapse of their civilization. Their prayers were answered in the form of the cant. These mysterious godlike beings had no physical presence in our plane, and the Necron Tier had to construct living metal bodies to contain their nebulous essence. Thus clad, the cant took the shapes of the Necron Tier's half-forgotten gods and claimed to have fought the Old Ones before the Necron Tier even existed. Desperate for help, the Necron Tier didn't require much convincing to throw in their lot with the cant. And here we have a great image of the cant, the godlike beings, all in flame. Cool piece of artwork, that, love that. Next we have biotransference. The cant brought more than just the hatred of the Old Ones to the Alliance. They also had a plan, biotransference, an idea that they planted and which Illuminous Ceres made reality. This would see the Necron Tier achieve immortality, replacing their weak-bodied flesh and with eternal living metal. The cant's secret plan was to gorge himself on the cast-off life energy. Too late did the Necron Tier realise the true cost of the deal they had struck. For while they had indeed gained immortality, most of the population had lost their personality and sentience, becoming little more than mindless automata. No longer were the Necron tier, now they were the Necrons. Sharek, the so-called silent king of the Necron tier, recognized the grave error he had made in seeking out the help of the Catan. Slowly, he prepared to seek vengeance for his people. With their increased power, the Catan stood at the verge of victory. The Old Ones and their allies, including the Eldari and the Krork, knew they were no match for the Catan and grew desperate. They unleashed powers that disabled the warp, which would have dire consequences over the coming millennia. It wasn't enough. Necron legions finally breached the webway, and it was just a matter of time before the Old Ones were utterly destroyed. While some of their younger allies survived, this was the end of the war in heaven. At the moment of the Catan's final triumph, Sharek had the Necrons turn upon the gods. In their arrogance, the Catan didn't realise the danger until it was too late. However, they were nigh on impossible to destroy. Instead, they were sundered into thousands of fragments, which were either enslaved as living weapons to use to power arcane Necron technology. The cost of victory was high, though millions of Necrons have been destroyed, including the entire triad except the Silent King himself. And we have the Necrons going up against some Eldar, some Eldari, one of them getting blown straight in the chest there. There's a Necron. Is that a Cryptek? I think it's a Cryptek. Overlooks. That's quality. The Giants sleep. Even with the defeat of the Old Ones and the Catan, the Necrons realised the galaxy was no longer theirs to command. The Eldari had fought alongside the Old Ones and were now in ascendancy. But being mere flesh, their time too would pass. So the Necrons transformed their remaining cities into giant tomb complexes threaded with status crypts where they would sleep until the Eldari Empire crumbled into dust. Once the time for these new psychic races was over, the Necrons would awake and would rule the galaxy once again. And there's some big Eldari units going up against some flies of the Necron. In the back there, I think that the guy with the side, I think that's the Shard of the Deceiver. I think. Pretty sure it is. Some Immortals there, going up against some Howling Banshees and other things. Quality. Now, the return of the Silent King. With his people asleep, Sharek, the last of the Silent Kings, took himself into exile in the galactic void, seeking penance for his purgatory he had brought to his people. For millions of years, he travelled the darkness between galaxies. In the meantime, his people began to awaken, only to discover that the younger races had not died out. The galaxy would need to be reconquered through force. Within the intergalactic void, the Silent King had discovered a new threat to his people, the Tyranids. These were able to consume all of the biomatter in the galaxy. Then the Necrons would have no hope of ever reversing biotransference. He knew that he would have to return and rule his people once more. With his return, the Necrons once again have hope that they will dominate the galaxy. Sharek has initiated a scheme that will simply be a masterstroke, creating arrays of immense pylons made of Noctilith. This mysterious substance can enhance or shut down psychic powers, and even Belisarius Call sees it as the way to defeat chaos. Where these pylons are raised, whole regions of Riospace are cut off from the warp. In its fearful ignorance, mankind has dubbed this the Prior Nexus. Any living creatures within the area of space find themselves afflicted with a numbing despair that only worsens with time until they become little more than a mindless husk. The perfect vessels for experimentation on the reversal of biotransference. Due to the negative change of the pylons, the manifestation of demonic and psychic energies within these regions becomes vastly more difficult. The Necrons' plans are finally coming to fruition. So yeah, Belisarius Cawl is going to want to understand how these pylons work. So I think there's going to be something with the pylons and the Eye of Terror. Pylons placed all around the Eye of Terror to like close it off. That's going to take some doing, but if we know anything about Warhammer 40,000, the lore, anything's pretty much doable. Who can stop them? During the War in Heaven, the Eldari had the help of the Old Ones, but now they are fractured and a dying race. Can the Tyranids overcome the technological advances that the Necrons have? Can the Tyranids overcome the technological advances that the Necrons have? Yep. Maybe the Orcs can overcome the soul-sucking horror of the prior Nexus by simply fighting everything. The Imperium's Indominus Crusade has reached the edge of the prior Nexus. Can the greatest mobilization of men and material in 10,000 years stop the Necrons? The powers of chaos seek to expand the influence of the warp, and the Dark Gods have their own plans for Noctilith. The four great powers and their followers will not let the Necrons' plan play out unopposed. Perhaps the only beings in the material universe with the power enough to hold the Necrons are the very gods that began this, the Catan. Though many shards of these ancient beings are shackled within the technologies of the former servants, their desire for vengeance still burns strong, and there are isolated reports of Catan shards across the galaxy that have broken their chains intent on revenge, i.e. the Void Dragon. The Necrons will soon be bringing their plans for galaxy-wide domination to the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. Join us on our Facebook page and let us know how you plan on trying to stop the Silent King and the rise of legions. What do we think, guys? What do people think is going to happen in the prior Nexus? What do we think the Necrons are up to exactly? Leave your comments below. I can't wait to see what people's thoughts are on this. I love the lore, like I said at the beginning. It really is one of the best things about Warhammer 40,000, in my opinion. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to see what happens in 9th edition. Can't wait to see what happens in the prior Nexus. And I can't wait to see what your thoughts are, guys. So leave your comments below. As I said at the beginning, if you're new to 40k, we post Warhammer 40,000 content every single day like this. But we do news, hints, tips, reviews, pit videos, and eventually battle reports. So if you like Warhammer 40,000, subscribe to the channel and be part of the channel's growth and expansion and so on. Thank you very much for watching, guys. This is going to be Kel, signing out for 40k, saying stay safe, look after each other. Until next time, guys, we'll see you all later.